Let's get into today's real estate real talk. So a lot of big markets across the country are pricing people out, which is actually providing an opportunity for cities on the rise. More people moving to more affordable areas. But which one is right for you? Joining us right now to discuss everything real estate, we have Los Angeles real estate agent Keri White. Hey, Keri.
Hi, good morning.
So a lot of people are looking at the index that was done by the Wall Street Journal and Realtor.com.
Right.
What are some of these top markets that people are moving to?
Well, good question. We're here in Los Angeles, and unfortunately, our market is not one of the markets people are moving to. But the top of the list, and a lot of these cities are known right now for their popularity, but the top of the list is Elkhart in Indiana, which I know from growing up in the racing industry with my parents. They have a great karting race. But the median price there for somebody to live is $279,000, which is actually up 17.2% from the previous year. Isn't that quite a big jump? So if you want to go to Indiana, that's everybody's number one choice. The second one is Burlington, North Carolina. I love the Carolina states. Now, the median price there to buy something is $290,000, which is up 28.9% year over year. Then you have Johnson City, Tennessee. I don't know too much about that place, but $283,000 to live there, which was up 24% year over year. Then you have Fort Wayne, Indiana, and that's $209,000, so the least expensive home on the list, and that was up 16.6% year over year. And then last but not least, Billings, Montana. So get out of town and get into a ranch-style opportunity, and there, actually, you're going to pay $389,000. Now, what's interesting about these cities is when you look at these prices, you know, 210 to like 389. Look at the averages in Los Angeles is $1 million. The averages in Miami, 571. New York, 815. San Francisco, 13. Boston, where you are, 824. So you can see why these cities have such a big pull to them right now.
I'm super surprised by this list as well, because when I think of smaller cities, I'm over here thinking, you know, Austin or Charleston or something like that. But these are actual smaller cities, no real big cities on that list, not many recognizable names either. Can you tell us what all of these markets kind of have in common because of that?
Well, yeah, good point. Like, what's the pull to these places? And ultimately, they're considered great places to live. Rapid home prices and interest rates obviously are pushing people out. So the smaller, less expensive areas are in high demand, but they've turned into these new hotspots for Americans to live, but really because of this hybrid model of working from home. But these are places that have really booming economies and are considered like a good quality of life. So when you're looking at these little cities and what they have in common, they're really the top emerging markets, and they're expected to have more home price growth, and they're expected to have more attractive amenities.
So when we look at these types of markets, when we see these types of towns and cities, what keeps them thriving? I know you said in some of those prices even going up 18% from year over year. So they're obviously building.
Right, exactly. So that's what they're looking at, the Wall Street Journal and Realtor.com. They're looking at these types of things to see why people are moving there. So specifically the real estate demand, of course, and they look at that compared to other markets, and then the abundant buyer demand as well. And then they look at the city's median price compared to others. They take a look at these key factors when they're looking at this. They actually have quite a long list, but the biggest ones are the supply, the demand, the median price, what unemployment is like, because jobs really drive so much. You look at where certain industries are going because of pricing, because they're able to house their employees. But some of the other things they look at are wages, this idea of amenities, which is like schools, parks, shopping centers, things to do, Instagram walls, the commute for people, small businesses, how are those thriving, and of course, property taxes.
Those all make a huge difference, and it all makes sense to me. But if we look at these indicators for these thriving markets here in the U.S., what happens if there's like really maybe these two cities are tied? How do you decide who ranks higher?
Right. It's funny they would even think about that. Like if the city's tied, I would think someone would just close their eyes and pick one. But they actually look at the real estate demand. Who, if they have so many things in common as far as jobs and amenities and quality of life, they look, okay, which city has more demand? So they look at homes for sale, supply, and what buyers are willing to pay. So real estate demand wins at the end of the day when you're considering these top emerging markets in the U.S.
And Keri, before I let you go today, I mean, people out there, I want them to know we are real friends in real life. And I was in Los Angeles and I was going by a street and I saw an open house and I was like, that sounds like a good Sunday. And who was it? Keri White's. I was going to pop in on you and I should have made it the surprise.
Well, I hear some good news for you too, so congratulations are in order.
Yes, you're keeping a lot of secrets over there. All right, Los Angeles real estate agent Keri White, as always. Thank you for your insight and your tips for this crazy market. You guys go ahead and follow Keri on Instagram at Keri Ann, and then jump over to YouTube and you can find her at Keri White Real Estate.